Ignition. Liftoff.
Hey Hornet fans, and welcome to our fourth episode of the Beech Show. Due to our support from our fan base, we are growing and expanding from Hometown Hype, and we have added a new member to our team, Jason Baker. And Jason's with me right now. Jason, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Kenzie, I appreciate it and appreciate the opportunity to join such a great team. And I'm a married individual. My wife, Lauren Baker, works for the community college here in Poplarville. I've got two young boys, Jackson and Camden, and have some experience in a profession that I can't wait to watch you develop as you've done such a great job with Hometown Hype. And I hope that in some way I can just add a little flavor to this great team at Hometown Hype.
Well, we're definitely excited to have you here, and I can't wait for everybody else to see you on our shows and with Coach Beech. And when we come back, you're going to get to see Jason and Coach Beech talk about last Friday's game. Welcome everyone to this special segment of the Beech Show. I'm here with Miss Andrea Will, who is the middle school and high school choral director. And Miss Andrea, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know you're really involved with the Poplarville High School.
I am. Again, my name is Andrea Will, and my husband is John Will, the principal at the high school. We have 4 boys, 2 in middle school and 2 in the upper elementary. And this is my 5th year back at Poplarville at the high school. I started at the lower elementary in 1993 and was there, I think, about 6 years, and then we've moved different places, and now we're back here, and this is home.
Poplarville's home, always has from a long time ago, and now you're back here again. Well, let's talk about last Friday. We saw the choir perform. They performed the national anthem before the football game, which was really awesome. I was there. I got to hear it. It was so sweet getting to hear all those different voices, and there were so many different children of different ages there. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. Last year we decided to try to coordinate an event with all the choirs at the school district. So I had my middle school and high school choir this year. We have about 50, and then we asked the upper elementary and the lower elementary to bring their choirs, and it ended up being about 130 kids on the field singing. So last year went well, and this year was even better. So I'm hoping we get a chance next year.
Well, it definitely was exciting to hear and fun to hear, and I love whenever the choir performs there. It brings so many different people of different areas too to the football stadium too. Tell us a little bit, we saw the t-shirt design that y'all wore. Everybody wore the same t-shirt. Can you tell us about that?
Right. Well, in my speaking to the kids at the beginning of the year, we're talking about the importance of choir and what it means, and I kind of mentioned to them that when choirs sing together, their heartbeats and their breaths begin to beat as one. And our name of our choir is One Voice. We named it about 5 years ago. And with the new branding of the Poplarville School District with One, I had a student, and I will tell him his name's Justin Fox, and he came up with an awesome idea, and we had a heartbeat with a treble clef and some music notes, and then we had the One brand, and underneath it we have one beat, one breath, and one voice.
That's a really cool t-shirt idea. It looked really awesome out there. Well, that's really exciting and cool to have that, and everybody wore that same shirt. That was really awesome.
And I'll give a shout out to Juju's Print Shop, is who really helped develop the idea and make it what it is.
Made it happen, made it come to life.
Made it come to life, yeah.
Well, thank you, Miss Andrea, for coming in and talking with me. We certainly were very excited to see the choir perform. We hope to see them perform in the near future, and thank you again for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hometown Hype Beech Show. I'm Jason Baker, sitting down with our head coach, Beech, and a 47-0 victory over a team 10-4 a year ago with Seminary. They came in 2-0. A team that really I didn't know a lot about when the season started, but I think when you popped the film in last Sunday, you probably thought, man, what an opponent we're going to see here on Friday night. How about your performance against
Yeah,
Seminary?
they're definitely a formidable opponent, and a great defensive front. We knew we had to be prepared, and I'm just proud that we hung in there with them, and they did get a few stops on us. They stopped us on fourth down, I think 3 times. But our defense was so strong, we gave us so many chances that then we were able to put up a lot of points.
When you see a team like Seminary and you put in the tape, you don't know a lot about them. It's not somebody we see every single year. Did you feel maybe they got your team's attention? Maybe this kind of woke the kids up to say, look, this is going to be a tough test, especially since we're such a running style offense against a formidable defensive line such as that.
They definitely had our attention. I credit our kids. They got our kids' attention. Our kids were amped up and focused going into the game. They knew they were going to face a tough opponent, and they came out and played great.
As we look at the first half, you think through so many of the things that occur. One, you get the early turnover very quickly out the gate against Seminary. What's it like when you get a momentum swing such as that?
Yeah, it was huge because they had moved the ball a little bit on us that first drive, and then we got the turnover, and they would immediately turn that turnover into points. And it seemed like their energy level dropped a little bit after that.
Now, one of the tips that I get of watching these games on Friday nights, the Austin touchdown on that first drive, it was a change by Antonio. I was unaware that he had kind of audible power, but he explained to us after the game that you guys have worked on something in practice where they're showing their linebackers and he needed to get out of the play, and that's exactly what he did, audible to play to Austin. Take us through that process with Antonio and how we get to a play such as that to get the ball to Austin.
Yeah, well, this week we told him if 2 guys walk up in the A gap that he does have the ability to get us out of a play that's, let's say we got a trap play or any play that ends, we tell him any play that ends in a 0, 1, or 2, anything going up the gut, if the linebackers walk up in a gap, go ahead and get out of it and just run outside. That'd be a better option for us.
And that's what he did?
And that's what he did. He recognized it, and like Antonio, just calmly checked out of it, and we ran outside.
I told him it's got to feel nice, though, to know that your audible's going to Austin Bolt. When you look at Austin, again, he just starts the game off for us. To me, I mean, it's a tone setter. When he scores, it's almost like you can feel everybody take a breath like it's going to be okay. What's it like to have a guy of his caliber making a play such as a run like that?
Yeah, well, against great teams like Seminary, great defenses, it's great to have a kid that can go and do something on his own a little bit. We block well for him, but you give him an inch, he can do something special. And he's done it a lot for us, and it makes us look like great coaches.
When you look at your offensive line, you've had some injuries there. You kind of played around. I've noticed you've moved some guys in and around some spaces. I thought this was going to be a tough test, certainly against maybe the best defensive line we had seen to date, at least. How did they play early in that ball game?
They played really well. Early in the game, their defensive front, they were going full tilt. They were getting after it, and we were having to stay low. We were having to play great technique. And any time on film that we didn't do our technique exactly how we were supposed to, they got the best of us. So they won some of the battles, but our guys, I think, won more one-on-one battles than we lost.
One of the guys I had to feature, I thought he played extremely well in the first half, and he's kind of a newcomer. I don't know a lot about him, is Kyle Chambliss. I felt like even last game he really showed up, and then this game against Seminary, I thought the way he made some plays was big, and I thought early on it really set a tone to have a safety come up and set that edge, if you will, and in that run support. Talk to us a little bit about Kyle and what makes him the player that he is for Tim Story's defense.
Yeah, Kyle's a new starter this year for us, junior, and safety's pretty tough to play for us. It's a mental game. They have to align to the different formations. We adjust with our secondary, our defense. So the safeties have to do a lot of moving around, adjusting the motions, and he's done a good job of that. If you can't do that, you're not going to play safety for us. So you got to be smart, and he's done a good job tackling. In the open field, he does his job.
As we progressed through the first half, I noticed that Seminary was really beginning to put numbers in the box. They were really going to challenge our running game, and I thought one of the bigger plays of the first half that to me it symbolized that we were going to have to throw the ball a little bit just to loosen it up for the running game. You hit a big pass to Kanan Ray, that's a junior to a junior connection, so you're going to get that back next year. That had to feel good. What was it about that play that you were looking at, Antonio, to Kanan Ray?
Yeah, well, they were getting after us there. If we wouldn't have converted that, that'd have been the third series in a row they stopped us. And it was we just tried to pass earlier and they sacked us. And that's the thing is, when you got a good defensive front, it's tough to run on, but it's really tough to pass on. It's hard to protect, and you risk losing big yardage if you can't protect. So we protected that play very well. It was a post on the backside. We knew their safety was going to crash down in motion, and we knew we had a one-on-one battle. We was going to throw it up, and Kanan made a play on it.
What about Kanan Ray? He's a guy that got, as the season went on last year, and as you guys made your run through the playoffs, I noticed he was a kid who kind of developed as the season went on. I didn't notice early in the year that he played as much as late in the year. You guys were really counting on him. How much have you seen from him at the early start of this summer to kind of develop and to become the player that he is? And he's turning into a pretty sure-handed wide receiver.
Yeah. Well, Kanan's an excellent athlete. I mean, he can run, he can jump. He's pretty tall. I think he's over 6 foot tall, and he's solid, real solid for us. He does a great job blocking. He runs great routes, and he catches the ball every time he hits his hands in the game that I've seen so far.
As you had the end of the first half, as we were wrapping it up, you had Tyson Holston have a touchdown run, and then also Corey Knight bangs it in. And that's two young guys that continue to develop. Tyson, man, I mean, he's as good as you can find for what we do. Talk to us about those touchdown runs.
Yeah, Tyson's done a great job for us this year. He's played a lot of football for us. He started as a freshman on defense, and last year about mid-season got in that wingback role, and he's gotten better and better. And I think I know he's got more carries than Austin. We give him the ball a lot. They might want to overload our opposite of Austin, and we'll take it. We'll just give it to Tyson. He does a great job for us. And Corey's a good running back for us too as well. We're trying to get him in, get him some reps and with some of our ones, and we have confidence in Corey just like we do Roosevelt.
We're talking about the 47-0 victory over Seminary. We're talking about the first half. You led it 28-0 at the half. As we get ready to send it to Mackenzie, she's sitting down with Luke Mitchell in our senior spotlight. Talk to us a little bit about Luke and what he means to your program.
We're real proud of Luke. Luke came to us in 9th grade, never had played football before in his life. And if you'd have told me in 9th grade he'd start us for us, I'd have been surprised. But he has surprised me. And super proud of Luke. He's doing a tremendous job getting himself strong. Now he's grown tall and long, and he plays with outstanding technique, and he's tough. So, real proud of Luke.
All right, when we come back, Mackenzie Harris was able to catch up with Luke Mitchell on our senior spotlight. This is the Jay Beech Show, powered by Hometown Hype.
Hey everybody, and welcome to our senior profile. Tonight our senior is Luke Mitchell, and tonight we have his mom Janet and his dad Mr. Matt here with us tonight. And Luke, I'm going to start off asking you about tonight's game. We just beat Seminary 47-0. Can you tell me a little bit about this game?
Seminary is a good football team. Our defense just played lights out tonight.
You're the defensive end, right? Tell me a little bit about that position and your coaches.
We've got great coaches and just played great technique, and the scoreboard shows it.
Absolutely. That quarterback was kind of moving around a lot tonight. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Was that kind of, had to read him?
Yeah, he was very fast, but my job's not to let him outside of me, and I think we did a pretty good job at defensive end.
Absolutely. And also, let's talk about you outside of football. This is your senior profile. Is there anything you like other than football?
I love sports. Hanging out with my family.
I got you. Well, Miss Janet, I'm going to talk to you about Luke, and you can kind of tell me the details about him. What was he like as a little kid?
He was very sweet, and he's always been a sports lover, from baseball to football. I've always had a football or baseball game year-round in my backyard, whether we were here playing, at the high school. And like every Sunday afternoon, there's always been some kind of sports game in my backyard, Very sweet, though. I couldn't ask for a better child growing up.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool. That's really cool. And Mr. Matt, I'm going to turn to you next. And kind of tell me about how it is watching your son play here on Friday nights.
I really enjoyed watching him play this year, all the years. Like I say, up through baseball, a lot of these boys coached them in Little League baseball and stuff. I've enjoyed coaching and watching him, and just watching him become a young man and staying humble. That's the biggest thing I can say about Luke. He's real humble, and that's going to carry him a long way, I think.
Well, Luke, it sounds like you got an awesome family and an awesome support group behind you, and I definitely hear them up in the stands yelling for you every time they call out Luke Mitchell. They're like, yeah, Luke. But thank you all so much for talking with me, and thank you, Luke.
Welcome back to the Jay Beech Show, powered by Hometown Hype. Jason Baker sitting down to talk with our head coach, Jay Beech, over the 47-0 victory over the Seminary Bulldogs. Now we're recapping the second half. You go into the halftime locker room up 28-0, and I'm sure inquiring minds would like to know, what do you say to a team? You know, you're up 28-0, you've got to shut out. What do you tell the young men when you go into the locker room with such a large lead, such as 28-0?
Yeah, well, we go in, first thing we go in and look at some of our mistakes. They clamped down on us a little bit in the second quarter. We come out and scored 21 in the first quarter, and then had to get a long pass and a couple passes got us down. We were able to get another score. So there were some things going wrong there, and we had to go back and look on film. We got the fortunately with technology, we can go in halftime with the iPads and see the game unfold in the first half and point out to our players the mistakes they were making. And we told them 28-0. The game's not out of reach. We don't want to let them back in. We don't want to play poorly. We want to fix our mistakes. We want to be able to continue to get first downs. We don't. We felt like we struggled a little bit in the second quarter, and that's kind of the message. The kids were very, very hyped up, amped up during halftime. You know, I didn't. None of the coaches really had to say anything to get them up. Actually, we had to get them quiet down and said, "Listen to us." They just said they're having fun. That's a good thing. They're having fun playing, and they were ready to get back out there. And so didn't have to say much to them. Just got back out there, started playing.
So we come out the locker room, we get into a third quarter, and it was a quick quarter as well. I thought there was a lot of ball control. One of the highlights of that third quarter was Mario Barnes, who's going to be our player of the week. You'll see Mackenzie Harris sit down with him in a little bit on the show. But Mario gets a big fumble recovery, and that kind of seemed to be the theme was Tim Story's defense just – it seemed like any time they were maybe even thinking about grasping some momentum, his defense would either come up with a stop or even better, they came up with 4 turnovers throughout the game.
Yeah, those turnovers were huge. Yeah, it did. We put a lot of pressure on them, and they had to play perfect, and they didn't. They coughed the ball up, and Mario got on one, and then we relied on Mario on offense as well. That drive to open up third quarter for us was big. We had to overcome a penalty on the drive as well, and they were jumping outside on our blocks, and they kind of bottled up our buck sweep series there. So we went to another play, and it was running right behind Mario with Roosevelt, and they couldn't stop it.
What makes Mario so good as a blocker? We'll talk about Roe in a moment, but what makes Mario so special on the offensive side?
Yeah, well, first of all, his technique is flawless. You know, we could make a film on how to block down in the wing tee, and he'd be the one you want to look at. He'd get it slow, and he uses his forearm exactly how we teach it, and he drives his feet, and he's just devastating on that side. I think they had to put 2 or 3 guys in on that one drive. I think he hurt 2 of them, and the other kid just wanted to quit. But,
yeah, that's right. I'd quit too if Mario was blocking me, I would imagine.
But he's just fun to watch right there, and that was if we could execute that block, we had a play, and because of the way their defense was, and he could execute it, so we took advantage of it.
And then you mentioned Roosevelt Rain, you mentioned Roe, and I thought if you're breaking down the Hornets, you want to be really critical. Maybe Roe's not played up to his level of what he thinks in the first 2 games, but I thought it was a different Roosevelt Friday night. He was finishing runs, he was finishing them at the end, falling forward. What can he add to us? And then how big was he in that third quarter finishing that drive off?
Yeah. Well, people don't realize as Roosevelt's first 2 games ever started. So you got to get comfortable at your position, and he's getting more comfortable and more comfortable. He's going to get better and better. Like I said to a couple people, he's going to get better each game he plays just because of the experience he has. And so he's going to get better. He's getting better and better, and I don't think he's played bad. I think and then Friday night, I felt like he smelled the blood in the water, and he was just going to take it.
And he's a big kid. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not an easy kid that you're going to just want to run up there and chop down. That's got to add a dimension to this offense that has to make you excited because Austin's certainly not small, but he's not a big back. And then you got Tyson, who's certainly thin and quick and agile. And then Rowe is just our bruiser. And is that the role you hope to see him develop through the season?
Yeah, I do. We need a big physical back there in the middle that can, get 3 or 4 yards when nothing's really there. So yeah, it's good to have a big physical back in the middle.
As we head to the fourth quarter, one of the first highlights that jumps off was Tyson had that big return. He doesn't return many. I think he tries to pick his opportunity, but when he does, boy, he's special with football in his hands.
Yeah, and he knows we've got a pretty good offense. There's no need in taking a bunch of unnecessary risks back there. But if he can get one and he likes it, he has the ability to catch it and return it.
When you look at your team in that fourth quarter, you had another big turnover again, several of them actually. But then it was just closing out this football game. I felt like good teams, and as I've followed sports, the really good teams that have success as they develop put their teams away completely. Is that what you're hoping to see from your team? And I thought Friday night you saw it, up 28-0 going into the half, and then to walk away from them 21 points in the second half and get a 47 to nothing point victory over Seminary. Is that what you're hoping to see from your team late in the fourth quarter?
Without a doubt, for sure, and that's what we're hoping for. We don't want to have any setback or letdown if you put a younger kid in there. They know what to do. They've been doing this offense, since they've been in 7th grade. So we're expecting to score and we're expecting to stop people, even when we put some younger kids in.
You mentioned some younger guys. Chase Shears, we got to see his debut, if you will, and I know there's a lot of hype, if you'll allow me to use that term, about him. Seems to be a great kid. Got a beautiful smile on his face when he gets to tote the football. How special can he be, and how excited were you to see Chase kind of come in there and get some meaningful snaps?
Yeah, well, Chase has a lot of potential. Me and Chase have talked about it. Potential is one thing, but what are you going to do with it? And I have a lot of hope in him, and I think he's going to be a good player for us. There's some things he needs to correct, and he knows that. So, but if he does, he's going to be really special. One
of the other young men that I wanted to feature too was Keziah Daniels. You guys have kind of seemed to just plug him in. Multiple roles. I've seen him all over the field, but corner has kind of seemed to be where he's settling in naturally. A gifted athlete, it appears. What about Keziah makes him so special, and what has his role been, and how do you see him progressing through the season?
Yeah, well, we're a little bit thin in the secondary. We needed somebody to step up, and take over that cornerback position. We had Austin Bolton there, but we really don't need him playing corner every single down. So, like you said, I kind of threw Keziah in there, and he has a lot of ability, and he's played really well so far. I thought he played extremely his best game against Picayune. Having to reading this guy in front of him, and if the guy blocks, he had to come up and set the edge, as we say, and he did a great job doing that. Never got fooled on play action passes, which can happen to a young corner. And so, he's given up a couple passes this year, but he's also getting 2 interceptions so far, and made a lot of big tackles for us.
How big is it for your program to develop some of these younger guys? I've been saying it on what my role is on Friday nights, that if you think this is a one-time thing, you're wrong. If you don't take a step back and look at, there's juniors littered all over this field, sophomores as well, and then a strong senior class. But how important is it for you to get some of these younger guys on the field now in situations such as these to develop what you're trying to develop, which is a year in and out perennial power, if you will, in the 4A classification?
Yeah, you got to always be thinking about the future, and you got to have a plan for the future. If you don't have a plan for the future, you're not going to do very well in the future. So we have a plan, and we got depth charts. We got to make sure we have young kids filling, in the depth chart, lined up to go next year. So that's definitely important.
Our final score was 47-0 over the Seminary Bulldogs. Our player of the week is Mario Barnes, and it's kind of a unique player of the week. You don't see many tight end defensive ends becoming player of the week, but he had multiple fumble recoveries in the game. I think he even had a fumble cause in the game. What makes Mario so special?
Well, he's a selfless player, and he was having the time of his life out there when Roosevelt was getting all those yards. You know, he had a good time blocking, and he was definitely, we're going to recognize him for that. And during the game, we knew what he was doing, and we was, high-fiving him. We knew that because of his blocking that we were getting yards, and we were going to be able to get yards all night long if we wanted to, right behind him.
When you look at his brother is the limelight. He's the quarterback. He's going to get all the spotlight. They're two different kids. It's unique that Antonio's slender and tall, and Mario is this strong-looking physical specimen. What's it like to have those two? And if you could take us to their relationship, what's it like?
Yeah, they get along great, and they're good friends. It's a good relationship they have as brothers. And he's just Mario's a leader. He's a winner. He's determined. All the things we look for in a Hornet.
Absolutely. 47-0 over Seminary. Mario Barnes named our player of the week. When we come back, we'll talk about our next week matchup. But first, Mackenzie Harris sits down with our player of the week, Mario Barnes.
Hey everybody, and welcome to our Player of the Week segment. I'm here with Mario Barnes, who is our Player of the Week. And Mario, I'd like to congratulate you, man. It's such a big, big role to have. And you're our tight end, our defensive end for the Poplarville Hornets. You played both sides of the ball. Most people would say, he didn't score a touchdown necessarily. His name's not called out a whole lot over the loudspeaker, but we know how vital your role is to the Poplarville Hornets offense and defense. Tell me how it feels to be named Player of the Week, man.
Great feeling. I never knew. Kind of surprising.
It was a surprising feeling. You didn't really think that you were going, this was kind of something that was surprising to you? Yeah, definitely. Well, let's talk about that Seminary game leading up to it and the practices and stuff like that. We see whenever y'all set up, some guys wear like the red stuff over their helmets and stuff like that. Can you tell me what that is, what y'all go through at practices?
Well, that's a scout defense, scout offense. They just give us a look, kind of what the teams that we play against gonna line up in. That just help us out.
So they line up kind of like how that opposing team that you're going to play that Friday is going to line up. Does that help you out a lot?
Yeah, it helps a lot.
So you kind of know whenever you get there, it's something familiar that you've seen before, right? And speaking of that leading up to, they were hyping up that defense. They were acting like they were going to be, something tough to deal with. And you had that number 52 that you had to go up against all night long. Can you tell me about, how you felt coming into that game, knowing you were going to have to go up against that guy?
Well, I was confident the whole week when they told me he was supposed to be no one junior.
Probably them hyping you up all week kind of felt like a challenge, not in the way that you felt like you weren't going to be able to do it, but it just made you want to play.
Yeah.
It made you want to play really bad. So going into it, did you know that you were going to be able to stand up next to him and really get the job done?
I knew I was going to get the job done.
You knew it.
Yeah.
And we talked to Coach Beech. He talks about you and how good your technique is. And, I talked to you earlier. You said that you've had, it's just something that's kind of been born into you ever since 7th grade. Has football been, just something that you loved and was born into you ever since, you can remember?
Yeah, I always loved football.
Always loved football. Well, that's pretty awesome, man. Congratulations on being named Player of the Week. We're so excited to have you in here. And when we come back, we're going to get to know Mario a little bit better, and we're going to have his mom and dad join us. We're back in the studio with Mario, our Player of the Week, and his dad, Mr. Dwight, and his mother, Miss Rosie. And I'm going to talk to Mr. Dwight first. I'm going to ask you, as a dad, watching Mario play every Friday night, we see him out there working hard. We see him out there blocking hard. Can you tell us how it feels to watch your son play football on Fridays?
Oh, it feels mighty great, That's what we talk about. That's what we talk about. And just enjoy watching the game and watch the Hornet do their thing.
Yeah, you'll talk about how much he loves football, and he talks about football all the time. And it must be cool to hear him talking about it all the time and then seeing him actually playing on Friday nights in the Hornet uniform. That's pretty cool, I bet.
Oh, yeah, it's nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Miss Rosie, I'm going to turn to you to kind of figure out, Mario, he's a little bit shy in our interviews sometimes. He likes to kind of be a little bit more quiet and stuff. Can you tell me what he's like outside of football?
He's not shy, that's for sure.
So he's not shy, that's one thing.
No, at home he keeps everybody going. It's always Mario doing something.
Is there anything that he likes other than football?
No, that's all he
Nothing.
talk about.
Just football. Football. And we talk about even in the off season.
Off season, it's
football.
Can't wait to get to football.
Well, that's pretty awesome, though. Well, Mario, I'd like to congratulate you once again on being named Player of the Week, man. That's really awesome. And thank y'all so much for coming in the studio and talking with me and getting to know Mario. Oh, I'm so glad to have y'all in here, and I hope that everybody got to know Mario a little bit better.
You think you got one opponent today? Think again. Because today you go up against more than a football team. Today your opponent is fear. Today your opponent is hesitation. Today your opponent is every person who's ever doubted you. The people who told you you weren't good enough. Said you would never make the team. Never be a starter. Never be a champion. Never mind all that. Today is your chance to rise above. Show the world what you can do. Make sure they remember your name. And never forget your heart. Today, your opponent is yourself. Because only you decide if you stand or fall. Only you can control what happens between the whistles. So what are you gonna do? You gonna leave a shred of doubt in anyone's head? Or you gonna leave nothing?
The game clock, face 100 years, remember Jordan had the same shot. Carolina blue, California green, trunk full of white, get your Philly cheese. Ace Hood, they go crazy when I'm in your city. Ace Hood, that's what they saying now in every city. I put my team first, it's never rehearsed. We the best franchise cause we squeeze first. I signed a lifelong deal to the G code, drafted out of high school and I hit my free throw. You see them free shows, we call them free throws. Now I cost you 20 stacks just to witness me flow. Just to witness me flow. Gotta go put it over. Cause it's not one now. overtime. Cause I'ma stay on my grind. Cause money stays on my mind. I feel like 24 hours just ain't enough for me. If you feel me, put your hands up for me. This is over grind. I go for mine. I'm going blind. Because I'm putting overtime. I gotta win, baby. Losing is not an option. You understand me? Ruthless is the way to go. Blood, sweat, and tears for what I done. You understand? Put it on the line, baby. Just on the road to riches and diamond rings. Real moves do real things. I say hanging with the feelings is the song I sing. Real men they do real things. I'm listening to Pac, bitches say him and big. You tryna win a trophy, then you gotta do it big. Louis on every bag, difference I keep a flop. We don't need to see the tag, we just see it and we cop. Bowling out of control, put it out on the line. On one assist from Cali, I hit a triple dime. Now hold on to your seats, I'm about to go for mine. Hey, you see a convict, and we put in overtime. Cause on time, gotta go put it overtime. Put it on the line. Overtime, 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 overtime. Cause I got money on my mind, baby, everything, every guy. Put it overtime, 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 overtime. And I can't slow down for nothing. See, I gotta get overtime. Cause I'ma stay on my grind. Cause money stays on my mind. I feel like 24 hours just ain't enough for me. If you feel me, put your hands up for me. This is over grind. I go for mine. I'm going blind. Because I'm putting overtime. I gotta win, baby. Losing is not an option. You understand me? Ruthless is the way to go. Blood, sweat, and tears for what I done. You understand? Put it on the line, baby. Hood is the name, we the best one time.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Landry Bagley, who is the captain of the Poplarville Hornet cheer team, and I'm here with Tatum Davis, who's also the co-captain of the Poplarville Hornet cheer team. And Landry, I'm going to talk to you because I saw a bunch of little Hornet cheerleaders out here at the beginning of the game. Can you tell me a little bit about what that was?
Well, we do it every year as a fundraiser for the high school cheer team, and we pick 3 chants, easy chants that we teach them, and a dance that we teach them, and they perform at a Friday night football game, pregame.
That's pretty awesome. So all their family gets to come out and watch them be little Hornet cheerleaders for one night. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, Tatum, why don't you tell me a little bit about during the week? I know they came out here and performed, but tell me about that week or those couple of days that y'all had with them. How many of them showed up? What all they do? Everything.
We had 84 little excited cheerleaders this year, and they were so excited, and we just spent the morning with them on a Saturday and taught them the chants and the dance, and then they got to come out here and perform, and they were very excited, and it was a lot of fun, and we're really sad it was our last one.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Seth Godwin. And Seth, I know you got hurt last week. We talked about it with Coach Beech last week about you getting hit on that first play. Tell me a little bit about your injury and when you expect to be coming back.
Well, I hurt my knee, roughed my knee up pretty good, and surgery scheduled about a month. Hopefully next year I'm gonna bounce back stronger than ever.
That's good news. That's good to hear. At least you'll be coming back 100%. But we also heard that another bad thing kind of happened last week. We heard that there was a tornado that came around your property. But tell me about your teammates and the love that those guys have for you.
It's hard to call them a team. They're family. Tornado hit our shed. Shed went in 1,000 pieces. But glad to have that family up there. They came and cleaned almost everything up, made a big old pile. And it was special to my mom. It was just special to our whole family. And that was 2 days back to back actually. After football practice, after he was already tired, came over there picking up big old pieces of shed, all kind of stuff.
Well, that's pretty awesome that you have teammates like that, man. That's really awesome.
It's really special.
Absolutely. That's what this whole team is special. And, man, I'm glad that you were a part of it, and we're praying for you, and we hope that you have a speedy recovery and, like you said, come back 100%.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, everybody. I'm here with Kanan Ray. And, Kanan, you had a really big night. You've had some really good games so far in the past couple of games that we played, but tonight you had that big catch. Tell me about that big catch you had.
Well, most of the night I'm usually blocking for our backs and stuff, but when I do get an occasional pass, Antonio puts it on the money. So, yeah, it's always fun.
Tell me about your quarterback and you and having that relationship with him and, catching those balls for him.
Me and Antonio are pretty close. I know where he's going to put it, and he knows where I'll be, so pretty much time we connect.
Coach Owen talked about one time in an interview that he's just as confident in calling a pass play as he is a running play. Can you tell me about practices and stuff? Do y'all run those pass plays a lot?
Yeah, every practice we have a time devoted to passing, and we run through the plays a lot, make sure we have them down, make sure we have our timing and stuff.
Tell me about running in and out. You're the one that's bringing in, you and KJ are bringing in the plays, San Antonio. Tell me a little bit about that.
Coach just tells us the plays, and we run it in. KJ does a good job of what he does, and yeah.
Does it ever get kind of confusing on whenever they call a play or any kind of thing like that?
Sometimes they'll tell us one play and then bring us back and tell us another one. So, I guess it's not that hard.
It's kind of confusing sometimes, but it's not that bad. I got you. Well, Kanan, thank you for talking with me. You had an awesome game tonight. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. I'm here with Zach Owen. And, Zach, you've been having some awesome games, man, and you're only a sophomore. And, you've been doing really good. You had a great game tonight. Tell me about how it is coming into this varsity team.
It's awesome. All throughout middle school, we've been dominating. Me and my boy Seth, like linebackers. It's a transition. We got a lot more technique to learn, but other than that, just hard work and dedication, and we can get it done.
Tell me about your coach, DeWeese. I know that he's really the linebacker coach. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, that guy's great. He'll get on you every once in a while, but it's all out of love, and I love that guy to death. He taught me a whole lot.
He really did. So tell me about tonight's game. Was there anything specific that you really had to work on tonight?
Actually, tonight was just a pretty simple night. It's kind of like our middle school kids. They ran the same offense as us, and we've been working with that for years now. But other than that, it's pretty easy. So.
Pretty easy. Well, Zach, like I said, you've been having some great games. Really exciting and fun to watch you play. And good luck on the rest of your season, man.
Thank you.
I'm here with Ethan Spears. And Ethan, tell me, you're the kicker for this Poplarville Hornet football team. Tell me a little bit about how much dedication and how much work it's put into being the kicker.
Well, I just got to put in a lot of work and practice and get consistent and just be able to kick them over and over the way I want to. And so a lot of practice.
Yeah, Coach Beech talked a lot about it and about how there was a lot of improvement from the first game to the second game. Can you tell me about maybe were you a little bit nervous that first game and now you're kind of feeling like you're getting into that role?
Yeah, the first game I was really nervous, and just after that I just got all the nerves out of me and just kicked it and just did the best I could.
There you go. Just kicking that ball. I got you. Well, there was a little bit of a fumbled snap or maybe like a missed snap, and you had to throw the ball away. Can you tell me a little bit about that play?
Yeah, the ball just got away from Kyle, and I saw it, so I picked it up and did what Coach said, just threw it away and just let it be a dead ball and not make anything worse of what it already was bad.
Right, not let them get it back and score, take it downfield. And you also play guard on this Hornet team. Tell me how it is having to do both sides like that.
Oh, it takes a lot of conditioning and hard work, in practice, to get used to being able to be tired and be able to go and kick the extra point and kick off, and just rely on my practice.
Absolutely, you have to have that conditioning and be ready and be prepared for these games. Well, Ethan, thank you so much for talking to me, and congratulations on tonight.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Coach DeWeese, who's the linebacker coach here for the Poplarville Hornets. And Coach DeWeese, tell me a little bit about tonight's game against Seminary. What were y'all expecting coming into tonight, and what happened tonight?
We're expecting a hard-fought game. That's a great 3A football team. Been deep in the playoffs the last couple of years. We knew it was going to be a dogfight. Coach Riles and his staff do a great job preparing the kids. They got a great defensive line. The first half they got some gaps and disrupted us and put us in long yardage situations, forced us to kind of change our plan. But I thought we adjusted, made some great adjustments at halftime. Got a lot of kids some good experience and played great on defense. Everything we worked all week is kind of what they did, and didn't really surprise us with that much. Maybe in the second half, a couple of plays, but I thought we played sound defensively. One of the best games we've played in my 4 years here. So.
Absolutely, it was a shutout. Got it all. Got it done. And I talked to Zach Owen. He was really fired up about tonight. He had a really good game. Can you kind of tell me a little bit about him? He's a sophomore this year.
Yeah, real excited about him coming up from 9th grade to his sophomore year. You know, we tell them all to be ready. You know, Peyton gets hurt in the first quarter with ribs, so we'll check on him. But Zach just stepped in and played great. You know, he had a couple of mess ups, but any young guy thrown into that situation is going to have those. But we went over to the TV and looked at him and made the adjustments, and he played great. I was super impressed with him, and everybody that played tonight. I thought we played great.
That's really awesome to have those younger kids stepping up to the plate and really taking it home really with that linebacker position. And speaking of the younger players, let's talk about some older players that we saw play last night, this past Thursday at PRCC. I saw you there. I saw you supporting your guys. Can you tell me a little bit about that game, what you saw, and how exciting that was to watch?
Oh, a huge win. You know, just being a Pearl River alumni, super excited whenever those guys are successful. And Coach Egger and his staff, it was exciting football to watch. Congratulations to them. First home win since, I think, 2014, and got to see two of our alumni play over there. I thought Jesse ran the ball hard, and Jamerick, whenever he was in, played great. Had a big pass deflection on third down by the goal line, tied at 21, ended up going for it on fourth down, and Pearl River held them. But can't be more proud of those guys. I see them here. They come and look at our kids and stand on the sideline, and it's fun to go over there and watch them and watch our guys at the next level.
I know it's got to be a proud coaching moment, like you said, to go over there and watch those guys playing at such a high level of football, because it is a different game over there. And you going to go back and watch them boys play over at Pearl River?
Absolutely. Like I said, it was an exciting brand of football. They offense, defense, just flying around. Even special teams, there was energy in the stadium that hadn't been there in a while. So they played great. I'd love to, me and the coach were talking about going next Thursday, watch them play Northwest. So won national championship 2 years ago, so expect another great crowd.
Absolutely. It's something very exciting to watch. And Coach DeWeese, congratulations on tonight's game against Seminary, and good luck next week. And I'll see you there at the Pearl River game next week, too.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Jay Beech Show, powered by Hometown Hype. Jason Baker sitting in with our head coach, Jay Beech. Looking at the way this schedule laid out, it's odd to see a high school team start with a 3-game homestand, but that's what you did. And ideally, you would want to go 3-0, and that's what you've done. Talk to us a little bit, maybe overall, about how proud are you of your team for this start to their season. You know, they get to defend their home field for 3 more times, and they do it successfully all 3 times.
Yeah, if you'd have told me we'd be 3-0 after this 3-game home stretch we had there, we'd all be very happy, obviously, and we are very happy. Coming off of a good run last year, a lot of question marks coming into the season, and I think we feel pretty good where we're at right now. Hopefully we can stay healthy, and if we stay healthy, we'll have a good football team, and we won't be back home for about a month now, so hopefully our fans will follow us and continue to give us the support that our kids feed off of.
Speaking of following us, we're going to head to A.L. May Stadium over in Perkinston. We're going to take on the Stone High School Tomcats. They're an up-and-coming program. They're coached by a young coach, a former college teammate of yours here at Pearl River, actually, and John Feaster. Tell us what you know about Stone coming in, and how do you maybe expect this game to go?
Yeah, Stone's developed into a rivalry. It's always been a rivalry with Poplarville, but we've picked it up over the past 4 or 5 years, and it's always been some of the most exciting games I've been a part of, and took place with Stone last year being one, and I expect another one just like that. And kids have to be mentally tough, they got to be determined, and they got to play well if we want to come out with a victory in this one.
John Feaster was a high school teammate of mine. We're alumni from Picayune, and they developed that Picayune mentality. Is that the type team we're going to see where they're going to run the football and they're not going away for 4 quarters?
Yeah, absolutely. Same type mentality, physical mentality. They're going to try to pound the ball on you, run the ball, and they got a good play action game as well. So it's just going to be one of those, a tough one.
When you look at the schedule, what do you prepare yourself, and how do you get the kids prepared first time going on the road? There'll be some youngsters this will be their first road trip. What's that process like as you go throughout your week this coming week?
It'll be fun. We'll be excited to go play on the road, and we've seemed to do pretty well when we get on the bus and on the road. So I don't expect any letdown. we'll be in good shape.
All right, well, we appreciate your time as always, and you giving us this access into your program.
All right, thank y'all. Appreciate it.
That's our head coach, Jay Beech. I'm Jason Baker. We thank you for joining us on this edition of the Jay Beech Show, powered by Hometown Hype. Please enjoy these images from our fan cam, sponsored by Matt Grubbs Hyundai.